Now, I personally thank the American Cancer Society for all of their research, because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Hello, I'm Terry Secrest, and this is my wife, Alisa. I want to share with you our journey with cancer. And it started 6 years ago this month, in June of 2014, when Alisa was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. But our journey really began almost 2 years prior to that. We just didn't know it. Alisa's dad in January of 2012 fell ill and progressively got worse. And through that time, she was spending a tremendous amount of time helping her mom and dad, and she had her annual mammogram scheduled. And because of all the concerns with her father's health, she canceled and was going to reschedule for later. Well, he ultimately passed away, and then all the things that ensued with that, just all the chaos of normal life, Alisa forgot to reschedule her mammogram. In May of 2014, she went to see her primary care physician. And one of the first things he asked was, "Where's your mammogram results?" And she said, "I forgot." And so he immediately sent her for a mammogram that day. They contacted her and said, "We need to do a diagnostic mammogram and ultrasound." And that didn't alarm her nor I, because in the past that had happened. And every time she had always been cleared, it was really just nothing to it. And so she went in June, and pretty soon after, they notified us that there was an area of concern, and they were going to need to do a biopsy.
I have had a great aunt that had a mastectomy, 30 years ago probably. And my mother and I took care of her, and I just saw her after the surgery and saw what she went through, and I didn't want to have to do that. So, every day I would pray, "Please, Lord, don't let me have to go through that."
She shared that with me and told me it's going to be Friday, June the 13th. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll drop everything. I'll be there with you." But she knew that there was a very important meeting that day. It was a meeting that we were having our final discussion to make the decision on building our new OSB plant in Corrigan, Texas. And she said, "No, the doctor told me we won't have results until the next week. Mom's going with me, my friend Laura, Natalie Monroe's going to stop by. You need to go to that meeting. We got this, I'll be fine." Reluctantly, I agreed with her, and I went on to the meeting. As the meeting was going on, I got a phone call, and Natalie Monroe called me and quite emphatically told me I need to get to the hospital, that things were not good. That short drive from our office to Rapides Hospital seemed like an eternity, and all the questions and the unknown started to set in. Natalie met me at the door and told me what the doctor had said, and Alisa and I both know the doctor, and so I immediately rushed in and found him. And he was very calming, but he said, "I've done this enough times. I've seen enough of these. I've seen where it's located, the size and the markers, that although I can't be 100% sure, I'm pretty certain it is cancer."
When they said you have breast cancer, it's like, oh, that's the one thing I never wanted to do.
And this threw us into a tailspin, as anyone who's been diagnosed with cancer knows. And there's a commercial out today that talks about the diagnosis is more than the individual, it's the family. It truly is. But we rapidly jumped into action, and we started to meet with surgeons and settled on an oncology surgeon at Shreveport that made us feel very comfortable, and Lisa really connected with him. And she told him when she was there, she says, "There's one request I've got." She says, "My family takes a lake vacation every year for July 4th, and I'm going." And he laughed and said, "That's all right. We'll make that happen." And they did. So on Tuesday, July the 9th, we entered the hospital. They prepped, and Lisa went through a mastectomy, the story reconstruction, and over the next 6 months had multiple chemotherapy treatments, lymph node removal, reconstruction.
The worst part was losing my hair and wearing a wig or a turban Or Terry telling me when I was totally bald, "Look, Lisa, you look like your daddy," who had been bald for years. So the surgery, the chemo, that wasn't bad at all. It was losing my hair.
But I can gladly say today, she's 6 years cancer-free. She hadn't missed a mammogram. She hasn't missed an oncology test. We want you to know that we're supporting the Relay for Life because we know the value of the American Cancer Society to cancer patients and their families. We received a lot of information from the American Cancer Society that helped guide us through this path.
Don't reject help.
We also know the amount of research that the American Cancer Society has done over the years that led to the treatments that Alisa was able to take that stopped her cancer and has kept it from returning.
With God and friends and family, we're here. We made it.
We strongly ask you, please participate in the virtual Relay for Life, Relay on the Red.
And my one word of advice after experiencing this is don't forget a mammogram.